Please grab a seat. I'd love to talk with you for a moment about one of my favorite ambient, drone, and glitch records, and I think this record is the perfect one to kickstart my channel. And that would be Tim Hecker's Radio Amor. Tim Hecker's Radio Amor is his second full-length studio LP, released in March of 2003. Some of my favorite tracks off the record include 7,000 Miles and I'm Transmitting Tonight. The album runs for a full 58.5 minutes, and while I wouldn't recommend diving in at just any point, it would be something to do if you're curious of the record. Now, to talk about theming, the record, I think, paints this perfect picture just with the album cover. Let's have another look, shall we? All you see are sepia tones and whites, some blacks, and I like to imagine that on the cover here, you see someone climbing between the masts of a modern-day ship with scattered GPS diagrams covering it. Now, this record, I think, paints a picture, and if you will, I'd like to describe it to you. Imagine yourself on the deck of a ship. It's overcast out. The water's calm. Too calm. Dead calm. And there are waves coming, but it's not normal waves. They're waves of malaise, broken radio transmissions, transcendent pianos, and they just wash over the deck of the ship, covering you. But you remain dry. You look around and you don't see land. All you can feel is the omnipresent gray pushing down, holding you down, keeping you there. Now, what I love about the record is that it finds seamless transitions between ambient moments and glitch moments, which I think is a very, very hard thing to balance. Now imagine you have soft interludes followed by scrambled and distorted radio transmissions. It would be overwhelming for some. But I think for myself, it's the perfect cloudy day record. Whenever it's gray outside and feeling is inescapable, it's the one I turn to. Now, this record is a very, very important one to me because of the fact that it's so gray and malaise. I think it fits a niche that few other records find. Now, normally with pop music, or even with ambient music like Stars of the Lid, it's usually very poignant, avoiding these darker tones. Now, before you get angry at me in the comments and say that plenty of other drone and ambient records explore the themes of malaise, depression, and even emotionlessness, let me elaborate. Now, pop records want to instill joy or love ballads, or for Stars of the Lid, they want to instill calmness. They have strings instruments flowing, creating serenity. But serenity feels almost unobtainable in Tim Hecker's Radio Amor. There's more to it than just the gray. It's a lifestyle. It's riding in a cab, the chattering on the radio in the background meaning nothing. It's the piano in a nightclub or a bar that plays notes and they just fall deaf upon your ears. It's the day when you walk outside and it's not raining, but clouds hang overhead. You don't know what to think. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to feel. It's conformity without the enforcement. It's the gray that's everywhere. And I think very few albums have been able to capture that for me. Now, it's a record that most people would say isn't even the best of his discography. Harmony and Ultraviolet, easy. Maybe some contrarians who say virgins, but regardless. To me, this is his most important record. Because while Harmony and Ultraviolet is fantastic, I feel like it doesn't manage to get in the same cubbyhole that Radio Amor does. I think the coloring on the album cover, the pictures and art in the center and on the back really managed to capture the themes. Just blurred people. When you walk on the street, when you're in the office, people who remain faceless. You see their face and you can define their features. I mean, that's how you recognize them. But at the end of the day, do you really know them? It's a sense of overwhelming knowledge. Knowledge that means nothing to you. Knowledge that somehow doesn't find its place. So, for example, I know people. And yes, I actually do. But do I really? There's a great online term that discusses not even knowing what other people's lives are like, just looking at a place, for example, a street corner, and thinking that's someone's life. They pass that every day. They've walked on that street corner. Perhaps they've ended a relationship there, and you're not even a part of it. Their experience is so holistically different from yours, where you can't even imagine what their life is like. Blurred faces, blurred emotions, soft moments, loud moments, all swirling together in a melting pot to form a unanimous gray. The strength of the sound doesn't matter because the notes fall deaf on your ears. It's a beautiful record, really one of my favorites, and I highly recommend you go and check it out. In the description down below, you'll find links to go support Tim Hecker, as well as you'll find information for myself. I plan on uploading as frequently as I can, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you're inclined, subscribe and click that notification bell, so when I just start a discussion with you in the future, you can be the first one to respond. I really appreciate you taking the time out today to have a discussion with me on one of my favorite albums of all time, Radio Amor by Tim Hecker. Now don't let the gray get to you, and cover yourself up in the blanket of sound. Thanks for watching.